Hello everyone, and welcome to Morale-Q. Today's story is one that I believe will resonate with many of us, especially in a world that often seems to demand more of our time than we can give. It's a story that will remind you of the incredible value of time and the consequences of not respecting it. Stick with us until the end, and you might just walk away with a new perspective. The value of time, a story of redemption. In a bustling modern city, there was a young man named Ali. He was smart, ambitious, and had everything that seemed to define success in today's world. He had a well-paying job, a nice apartment, and dreams that stretched as high as the skyscrapers around him. But despite all these blessings, Ali had one major flaw. He didn't value his time. Instead of using his time wisely, Ali spent hours scrolling aimlessly through his phone, watching movies, and putting off important tasks. Procrastination was his constant companion, and he always told himself, "I'll do it tomorrow, there's plenty of time." His father, a wise man who had lived through his own struggles, would often remind him, "Time is precious, Ali. If you waste it, you will regret it later." But Ali brushed off these warnings, thinking that he could always catch up later. One day, Ali's manager gave him a big project. It was his opportunity to prove himself, to show everyone that he was capable of handling more responsibility and perhaps earn a well-deserved promotion. But instead of diving into the project with determination, Ali delayed it. "I'll start tomorrow," he said again, day after day. As the deadline neared, Ali began to panic, but he still didn't work efficiently. He thought there would be time to finish it. By the time the deadline arrived, he had completed only half of the project. His manager was furious, and the company lost an important client because of Ali's negligence. The consequences didn't end there. Ali lost his job, and the financial strain soon started to tear his life apart. With no money coming in, he couldn't pay his rent. His landlord kicked him out of his apartment, and his friends, who had once surrounded him, began to distance themselves. Even his family, who had always supported him, grew angry and disappointed. His father, in particular, was heartbroken. "Ali, you wasted so much time. Look at where it has brought you," he said, his voice heavy with regret. Shame and despair washed over Ali as he realized that his father's words had come true. He had lost everything: his job, his home, and most painfully, his self-respect. With no other options left, Ali packed up his things and left the city. He decided to return to his village, hoping that the quiet, peaceful countryside would give him the clarity he so desperately needed. In the village, Ali wandered aimlessly. He couldn't bring himself to face the people, especially his family, who had been so disappointed in him. The guilt weighed on him like a heavy cloak. One evening, as the sun set behind the distant hills, Ali walked to the edge of the village. He found a quiet spot under a large banyan tree and sat there, holding his head in his hands. He felt hopeless, lost, and unsure of what to do next. Suddenly, a calm voice interrupted his thoughts. "Why do you look so sad, young man?" Ali looked up and saw an old monk standing before him. The monk's face was serene and kind, and he wore simple clothes, holding a wooden staff in his hand. "I've ruined my life," Ali confessed. "I lost my job, my home, and my respect. There's nothing left for me now." The monk sat beside Ali, his eyes filled with compassion. "Tell me your story," the monk said gently. Ali hesitated for a moment, but then, feeling a strange sense of trust in the monk, he shared everything: how he had wasted time, missed opportunities, and ultimately lost everything. The monk listened carefully, and when Ali finished, the monk nodded slowly. "Your story reminds me of another man who faced a similar problem," he said. "Let me tell you about him." The monk then began his tale. There was once a farmer named Gopal. He was a hard-working man, but he didn't respect time. Every morning he would wake up late, telling himself that he could do his work later. "I'll do it tomorrow," he always said. One year, during the planting season, Gopal delayed sowing his seeds. By the time he began, the rains had come, and the seeds didn't have enough time to grow properly. When the harvest season came, Gopal's fields were empty. He had no crops to sell, no food to feed his family, and no money. One night, as Gopal sat under the stars, he realized his mistake. "I lost my harvest," he said to himself, "not because of bad luck, but because I wasted time." From that moment, Gopal changed. He woke up early, worked diligently, and never delayed his tasks again. The following year, his fields were full of crops, and he became the most successful farmer in the village. Monk turned to Ali and said, "Do you see, my child? Gopal failed because he didn't value time, but he learned from his mistake and turned his life around. You can do the same." Ali looked at the monk, unsure. "But how?" he asked. "I've already lost so much." The monk smiled gently. "You haven't lost everything. You still have time. Time is like a seed. If you plant it wisely, it will grow into success. But if you waste it, your life will remain empty, just like Gopal's fields." The monk then handed Ali a small hourglass. "Use this," he said. "Whenever you feel tempted to waste time, watch the sand fall. Remember, once the sand is gone, you can't get it back. Time is precious, just like the sand in this hourglass." I took the hourglass with gratitude. "Thank you, wise monk," he said. "I will not forget your lesson." The next day, Ali returned to his life with a renewed sense of purpose. He woke up early and made a plan for his day. He set aside time for work, but also for reflection and self-care. He realized that distractions like his phone and idle entertainment were robbing him of his time. So he made a conscious effort to stay focused and disciplined. Slowly but surely, Ali began to rebuild his life. He took on small freelance jobs to earn some money, and his clients were impressed by his dedication and punctuality. As a result, Ali soon landed a full-time job with a reputable company. It wasn't easy, but he stuck to his new routine and kept working hard. Over time, Ali also mended his relationship with his family. He apologized for his past mistakes and acknowledged how much they had supported him. His father, seeing the change in his son, forgave him and said, "I'm proud of you, Ali. You've learned the value of time." Ali kept the hourglass on his desk, where he could see it every day. Whenever he felt lazy or tempted to procrastinate, he would watch the sand fall, reminding himself that time was precious. He no longer wasted it. And so Ali's life slowly transformed. He became a man who valued time, who understood that every moment counts. He learned that no matter how much you've lost, as long as you still have time, you have the power to change your future. If this story has inspired you or someone you know, don't hesitate to share it. And remember, time waits for no one. Don't waste it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and cherish the time you have.